Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're diving headfirst into one of my favorite topics, UFOs, man. We're talking 19th century, the Wild West of UFO sightings. We're about to explore some seriously strange encounters that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about our history with UFOs. All right, folks, buckle up for this one. It's 1896 and people are seeing some seriously weird stuff in the skies. I'm talking about giant airships, man, floating around before the Wright brothers even got their act together. This was the great airship mystery, and it gripped the nation. Newspaper headlines from coast to coast were going crazy. People were reporting seeing these massive airships, often with bright lights, hovering over cities and towns. Some even claimed to see figures on board silhouetted against the glow. Can you imagine looking up and seeing that? These were clear sightings witnessed by hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. The stories were wild, man. Some folks said these airships could land and take off vertically, which was unheard of for the technology back then. Others swore they saw these things shooting beams of light down to the ground. One of the most famous accounts was from a newspaper editor in Sacramento, California. He claimed he saw this massive airship, at least 300 feet long, just cruising over the city. People from all walks of life, farmers, shopkeepers, even lawmen, were reporting similar sightings. It became this huge national obsession. Okay, so we just talked about the great airship mystery, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because 1897 had another trick up its sleeve. I'm talking about the Aurora, Texas UFO crash, and this one is straight out of the X-Files, man. Picture this. It's April 17th, 1897. A small town in Texas called Aurora is going about its business when suddenly, boom! A cigar-shaped object crashes into a windmill on Judge Proctor's property just outside of town. The story goes that the object, badly damaged, was found scattered around the crash site. And here's where it gets really wild. The townsfolk claimed that the pilot, if you can call it that, wasn't from around these parts. In fact, they said it wasn't even human. According to witnesses, the being recovered from the wreckage was small and frail, with strange markings on its body. The townspeople, being good folks, decided to give the being a proper burial in the Aurora cemetery. They even erected a small, unmarked headstone for the unknown pilot. Now, over the years, the Aurora incident has become legendary. Some people dismiss it as a tall tale, a product of overactive imaginations in a time before radio and television. But others believe it's one of the most compelling pieces of evidence for extraterrestrial visitation. All right, so we've talked about the great airship mystery of 1896 to 1897 and the Aurora crash, but the truth is the late 19th century was a hotbed for weird aerial phenomena. We're going even further back now to 1886, a full decade before the airship craze really kicked off. This was a time when the very idea of flying machines was still the stuff of fantasy, yet people were seeing things in the sky that defied explanation. One of the earliest documented cases comes from November 1886, when astronomer Jose Bonilla in Zacatecas, Mexico, observed a large dark object crossing the face of the sun. Bonilla was a respected scientist, not some UFO chaser, and he meticulously recorded his observations, even taking photographs through his telescope. He described seeing hundreds of smaller objects accompanying the main craft, moving in strange formations. For years, his observations were dismissed as bird flocks or dust particles, but the sheer number and organized movement of the objects have led some researchers to believe Bonilla might have witnessed something truly extraordinary. Then you have the reports from just a few weeks later in December 1886. People in several states, including California, Texas, and Kansas, reported seeing similar strange lights and objects in the sky. These weren't just fleeting glimpses. Some witnesses described these things hovering over their towns for hours at a time. What's fascinating about these 1886 sightings is that they predate the whole concept of flying saucers and UFOs as we know them today. These weren't influenced by science fiction or popular culture. These were genuine reports of people seeing something completely outside their realm of understanding. That's it for today, folks. We've journeyed back to the 19th century and explored some of the most bizarre and intriguing UFO encounters in history. From the great airship mystery to the Aurora crash, these stories remind us that the unknown is always out there, just beyond the horizon of our understanding. So, which incident blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep those eyes peeled, folks. You never know what you might see up there.